We do the mesh. We do the monster mash. The monster mash. Do, 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 do. I don't know any of the words to that song, except we do the mash. Mr. Zedekiah is here and Wolverine's in. Yeah, I told you guys earlier, Wolverine, it's going to be a late one today, but it's free for all Friday. All that matters is we eventually made it. Yeah, I'm really pushing it for you guys in the UK and that region over there, huh? So, what, 8, 10 to 9 over there, right? 10 to 9, I do numbers. Krusty Bomb Big Green's here. Yeah, it's the free for all Friday. Now we just got to see how many people Susan decides to alert to the fact that it's free for all Friday. Z Hills, DJ Games, Eat Savage, Timu, Max Wolf, Tyler, David, Georgia, the Deity, Jeremiah. Well, let's wait until some more people get in here. Don't let me forget, guys. I want to make an announcement. And yeah. there was a chair shot moment. I want to make an announcement, and I don't want to forget to let you guys know, but I figure let a few more notifications go out first. Let me have my Mickey Mouse ears on too, just so I can hear the sound effects and stuff. So as always, it's free for all Friday. I'll be talking about all kinds of weird shit, but whatever kind of weird shit you guys want to talk about is fine with me. Is Dark Soul Jeremiah? We had a vote about that a while back. We don't have a fighting day anymore. Everybody voted to and it said right in the title. It told you what Dark Souls was. It was a sponsored video from one of the Gooshers. The gang voted overwhelmingly that they preferred having these chat streams and the interactive gaming streams like Among Us and things like that. They like that better than the designating each day for a different game. Doesn't mean we won't play games like that. Just it's not on a regular schedule. Hey, good to see you, Kyle. Glad you can make it back. Wow, David says Curtis for Prez 2020.
Oh,
now I am not running for President
yeah.
2020, but that's very close to having. Well, I can tell you guys what I'm planning. We're going to be doing live streams. One thing this election season has taught me is that I'm really disgusted with our with the selections that we're presented with for president. So we are going to be doing streams. God damn it! This chat is still not. I gotta fix that chat again. Yeah, I did. Dragon says, did you see the viral video of that backyard wrestler breaking both of his legs? That was grisly. That was gruesome. I did see that. Yeah, that's just backyard wrestling just isn't a good idea. Guys are just completely non-trained. I was gonna say undertrained, but they're not trained at all, and it just never works out well. So what I'm going to do is going forward, I am going to designate myself, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me on this. I'm going to designate myself as president, and we'll have regular streams that are the presidential, fireside chats with the nation, where you guys can ask me anything at all, because unlike your prior presidents, I don't run, I don't hide, and I will tell you how we're going to go about handling things. And then you guys can make your decisions as to whether or not my way is better or whoever is the current president, if their way is better. So we will be doing those regularly too. Lachlan says, I'm sure you can do a better job than Kanye. That one I would hope for, yeah. We're going to end up banging livestock, aren't we? It won't be mandated, but certainly we could always look the other way. Secretary of Hentai. Well, that's one of the things, too. In my administration, we will embrace Japanese culture. The Japanese and the Americans will be closer than they ever have been because we have to take care of them because they got all the anime. And without anime, there's not really any hentai. So by association, we have to take good care of them. Dibs on head of torture, Wolverine says. Sheep says, Curtis, if you could pick any deceased president come back to life for another term, who'd you pick? That's tough to say, Sheeps, because even as recently as just even 30 years ago or so, the world has changed so much that it's hard to say who would do an effective job in the current, if that makes... I'm not trying to cop out. It just, there are presidents I thought were great in their time. Am I as sure that they would do as well now? No. If there was ever one president that, put it this way, that I'd like to have a conversation with, would probably be Reagan. Reagan fascinated me for a lot of different reasons, so I'd like to talk to him. I think he was a good president. I do. Would his policies be
Oh,
as effective today? I think for the most
yeah.
part, yes. Hey, Morgan, good to see you, hon. Yay, weekend indeed. Brian says, best joke I've heard. Fairy tales don't start with once upon a time. Actually, it's
Oh,
if I'm elected, I promise.
yeah.
Well, and the only thing is, though, Brian, in fairness, the fairy tales stay closer to reality, I think, than do the politician promises. Hold on a second, guys. I have no idea what's going on with the chat box. Why this thing refuses to work for us, I just don't know. I'll try it once more. Having a lot of issues with, can I reset it? No. Let me see. There's the properties. All right. There. Now it's showing up. Let's see if after I do that. I don't know why the chat box refuses to work anymore. Oh, there it goes. Mess around with it a little. Mess around with it a little, and then it works. That's what she said. And when I am president, that's what she said will be the national tagline as well. Just so you guys know. Can I be chief of sex? Potentially, Xander. Potentially. There's a long line for that one. It's not going to be me. I can multitask at a lot of things, but I wouldn't want to be chief of sex just because of the disappointment element of it. Politicians disappoint us enough. We don't need me in that position. Rosa says, update on my COVID. My head hurts a lot, but other than that, I'm showing no real symptoms. Well, that's good. I mean, not that your head hurts, but that's the only symptom. I've got a very slight shortness of breath, but I don't know if it's because I'm looking for it or because I have it. I know that gets, like we had talked about the other day, Rosa, that gets anybody's mind. It's going to be inside your mind. If you have COVID, you're going to be conscious of the fact of, is my breathing normal or is that off? Has anybody, and nobody's seen Shy yet, have they? Cheyenne Martin? Haven't seen her in here yet? Because she just tested positive too. I'm just wondering how she's doing. Connor's going to be dictator of something. We'll find something. But that's what we're going to do in those streams. You guys, it's obviously, as always here, it's for laughs. But in the serious side of it, you guys can ask me about any topic. And I want you to determine, because this is the point I'm trying to make is, in current politics, everything is extremes. Everything. Everybody feels like they have to appeal to their extreme bases. So I'll give you my take on whatever issue it is that you bring up, and then you get to honestly decide if my idea is better or worse than the current ideas that we're going with. I call Chief of Self-Love. Welder for Life says, if you know what I mean. Ooh, that one. Well, yes, I know what you mean. That one, all right. I suppose I could give that up, but that is one I felt like I have a good amount of experience with.
Oh, yeah.
Barry says, I shall be chief of sticky stuff. No arguments. Or you could even be chief of sticky stuff distribution. Dragon says, if only there were mosquito nets in Africa, then we could save millions of mosquitoes each year from dying needlessly of AIDS. Oh, that's an old one. Oh, that's a viciously old one. Parzival says, marijuana, what is your idea about? Crab says, except credits, my birthday is November 4th, one day after the election. I don't know. Oh, it's my sister's birthday too. I don't know what I'm going to do. I hope everything is settled so you can do whatever you want, Crab. I hope the worst case scenarios don't happen and there's all kinds of disruption to our lives. Although I think, with the election coming up, I think if there is any disruption, it'll only really be, and this is, I shouldn't say only, but it will be if you're in metropolitan areas. I don't think you'll see too much spillover into rural areas. Can I lead your hit squad? Andrew, oh, well, that's a must-have, obviously, in my administration. And yes, they're Shy right now. Let's see. Mutual funds are hurt. Oh, you're talking to Chrome. Shy, you still feeling okay? No major issues with, again, Shy tested positive for COVID. Hey, Lude. Shy's doing fine. Oh, he's let me know right here. She's keeping up with work. Still asymptomatic and will stay that way if all keeps up well. I hope so. I think so. I hope so. I mean, the only reason I say I think so is just playing the numbers. Shy's young. She's in good shape. I don't think nothing, right, Shy? I don't think. And again, the only reason, don't get me wrong, guys, the only reason I talk about this stuff is because Shy shared it with us before. I wouldn't talk about anybody's personal business if I didn't know they were comfortable with it. But Shy doesn't, I don't believe, has any serious health issues that should complicate it. So hopefully she'll fly right through everything. Kyle says, how does one sponsor a game? And can I help sponsor a game that's already being sponsored, like Dark Souls, for example? Kyle, that was just part of the Gusha 100s over there at the Goosh. And instead of a series, some people will sponsor gameplays. And typically the sponsors of gameplays have decided that, well, the gameplays are more fun if I do them on live streams because I need you guys' help. And they typically always, rather than make it a restricted live stream, just for the Gooshers, they'll put it right up on, and I got to post that for you guys over at the Goosh. They'll put it right up on YouTube so everybody can play along. But it's done exactly the same way as a stream, as a Gusha 100 reaction video. It's just they're sponsoring that instead, sponsoring a game instead. And I don't know going forward. He said he wasn't sure if he's going to continue with Dark Souls or not. He said he just really wanted to make sure and see me try and get through that first section, which I almost did. And I wasn't even thinking at the time like an idiot when I was fighting that big goof, that big creeper there. I didn't fucking go to use my health potion at all. I mean, I should have been distancing myself as, and hitting the health after getting shit I think of later. So I will get by him. But as I said during the game, I actually like things like that, bosses that are really tough like that, because it does give you a great feeling of accomplishment once you finally beat them. Mr. Badland says, my friends are at war with another school, and I just stepped in and said, that's great and all, but I think we need to remember that Hisoka's Monji gum has both properties of rubber and gum. I think, Mr. Badland, you made a good call there. I think at all times, but particularly in times of strife or when there's controversy or potential for violence, I think that is what everyone should be reminded of, always. Morgan says, getting ready to meet friends for dinner, but it was nice stopping in. Also, I called dibs on being the official campaign shirt model. Oh, you're in, Morgan. You're in. I hope you have a good, enjoyable dinner. We usually have some friends of ours over on Thursday nights because we have dinner together and him and I watch football. But they couldn't make it last night. He plays in a band, and the band had practice and stuff, so we missed out this week. But I hope you have a really good time with yours, and you are clearly our official T-shirt model. Oh, and there will be in my administration, there will be some truly witty T-shirts for sale.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. Andrew says they just quarantined 30 people where I work, a school. Oh, shit. They're probably going to close the school down to in-person education then, right, pal? I mean, that's what most of the schools are doing if they get that many. SpazDev says Dark Souls is pretty hard, but good from what I played. I liked it, SpazDev. I just played a little bit today. That's the first I've ever played it, and it was number 3, Dark Souls 3. But it was a lot of fun. It's a pretty game, too. I just like the games like that just have that great look to them. And, it wasn't hard getting through the first Nimnods there. But you get to that big beast in that arena, like where you have to pull the sword out of, and then as thanks, he attacks you. That guy's giving me freaking fits. Oh, here's Cheyenne. I got a bit of a headache that comes and goes now, and I'm not really sleeping well, so I'm just exhausted. I should be fine. Just working in increments and resting a lot. GU's watching me like a hawk. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Actually, I'm glad to hear that, Cheyenne. For those who don't know, she goes to school at Georgetown, who didn't know what GU was. I'm glad that they're taking good. That is a big deal to know that, especially as a parent of a college-age child, that the school takes good care of the kids when something like this does happen. So I'm glad to hear that. I rooted against Georgetown for years. I think I told you this, Cheyenne, just because back in the day when I rooted for Syracuse, of course, in college basketball, we're talking, Georgetown was a rival. But the more I've gotten to know of them through you, and if they're taking good care of you, I will lean the other way on that now. And I still have, they got about there. Your Georgetown plaque is right up there. You can't quite see it. It's just out of range. It's on this top shelf here. I have a Georgetown plaque right here in the room. Johnny says, Curtis, how'd you feel about the World Series? The Big Blue played a hell of a series. It was really fun to watch. It was a good series. Very entertaining. I didn't really have a dog in the fight in that I'm not a big huge fan of either team, but I was rooting for the Dodgers, so I was pleased with it. I was very pleased with it. It was a fun series, a lot of action. You had an attempted steal of home plate and stuff we haven't seen in ages. Some quality pitching, some big hits. Yeah, everything you could ask for in a series, really. Yeah, it was good. It was entertaining. Genesis Kaiser says, me and my family went for a walk in the woods and it was getting dark. My dog's eyes shine from the light of my phone. Good atmosphere for mischief night. Yeah, that is. Yeah, it is. That gives you a good creepy feeling right there. Yeah, get a little dog eye action in there. PLF says, President Curtis, I am formally applying for the job of Secretary of Sarcastic Assholism, since I feel I'm the perfect fit for the job, since I can be a total prick when I need to be. That's interesting too, PLF, because the current president we have now is not so much sarcastic, but he clearly proves himself to be an asshole regularly. So you're right. In my administration, although I am an asshole, I'm going to try and not make that quite as front and center as the current president does. So I will need a Secretary of Sarcastic Asshole. I'll handle some of those duties, but I'll need somebody full time. Oh, and Morgan Stream Boss. Cool. Oh, Rosa. Poor Stephen Hawking again. For those of you who don't know, it goes like every so often, Stephen Hawking just takes a horrible beating in our chats. And to this day, we still don't know why, but it's funny. And she says, what's the difference between Stephen Hawking and a monkey? A monkey can walk. Sheep says, I call dibs on writing our national anthem. Being an Irish rebel musician, I can throw in a whole lot of bad words and shame all the shitty politicians, all while praising our Lord and Savior Bamsi. Those videos were so creepy. Well, it says, my first act as Secretary of Hentai will be to go to Australia and flip off the Prime Minister. Oh, and like Wolverine makes a good point, though, Willie. You got to remember, Australia isn't real. I mean, our flat Earth friends told us that it's all just a big scam. I don't know how I didn't see it prior. I'm kind of embarrassed, to be honest with you, that they had to point it out to me. It all makes so much sense now. But yes, anybody that tells you they're Australian guys is a paid actor. Who's paying them? I don't fucking know. But the flat earthers told us that Australia is fake, and anybody who claims to be there is just an actor. Xander says, President Curtis, I would like to apply for a role of sex, preferably furry sex. Oh, yeah, that'll go. We'll probably have some of that going on in the background of most of my press conferences. Cressybound says, fun fact for the first time players, the first DS3 boss is one of the hardest in the game. Yeah, he's fucking brutal. Also, Curtis was nowhere near close to half health on the boss. Players know what I mean. Also, practice. Oh, I don't know. All I know is his initial health bar, unless there's more, was down around half in the one fight. But I'm just kept trying different techniques and nothing was working. So obviously you got to come in, for me anyway, dodge the initial rush he takes at you, then lock on him, get some swipes in, and I got to remember to heal as soon as I'm down in strength a little bit, get away from him and heal. So I got to stop not paying attention when I go through those first few guys that you have to get through before you get to them. Because as you saw, every once in a while, I would not be paying attention to them. They get a slice in on me, and now that's less healing potion I'd be bringing in with me. But I like stuff like that. I know some people get frustrated, but as long as it's a square up fight like this, you're not dealing with any elements other than just the fight itself. I like those because, again, you get a feeling of accomplishment and you finally take the asshole out. Today, let's see. Jairus says, today was in a house, saw a guy have a shotgun. Oh, shit. Oh, I would get out of that house in a hurry then, if you don't know his intentions. Chrome says, what about this as a policy position? A bullet in the head of every zoophile and pedophile. Absolutely. It's pretty reasonable common sense gun reform policy if I've ever heard one. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. Not a problem at all. But you know that, Chrome, we're speaking on we're on the same wavelength there. Poppy says, President Curtis, I would like to apply for the role of lead bodyguard, soul taker, and when mad, I'm unstoppable. I like that, soul taker. I must admit though, Poppy, we'll have to keep that under wraps until I'm actually in office. Because as I'm running, if they find out that I actually have a soul taker in my administration, it might scare a few people away from voting for us. Dragon says, to be honest, I think flat earthers are confusing the earth for their brains. Yeah. Yeah. It's it's kind of scary when you think about it, guys, how many people we have walking around in everyday society who believe things like that the earth is flat. It's just, it's kind of frightening. Rosa said, Australia isn't real. Is this an inside joke I'm too new for? Not really just inside to us. It just would depend on whether you came across it. A while back, Rosa, a Flat Earth Society group came out and they were being legit. They claimed and had something to do with the earth being flat. I don't know all the finer details of their thought processes, but they said that Australia is not a real place. And they honestly said, the gang will back me up. They honestly stated that, and that if anybody tells you they're from Australia, they're actors. And they're flat earthers, so they're really smart. So we believe it. Lick says, oh, are we talking President Curtis again? Yes. Well, we already agree I'm treasurer. I know where the cheapest whores are. It's true. And that's critical in my administration. And yes, we're starting, we're days away from the 2020 election. Licks, we're going back. We're going to President Curtis for 2024 because I can't take this anymore. It's just, and you all know I'm voting for Trump. But I can't even tell you the last time, and I've voted in a lot of presidential elections because I'm an old fart. I want to once go into the presidential voting booth and pull the lever for somebody I'm excited for. Pull the lever for somebody I'm excited for. I've done that a lot of times, but I want to do it in the presidential election. And it's gotten impossible now because it seems like no candidate on either side can get to national prominence and get to that next level without having a significant amount of extremism in their perspectives. Nacho says, excuse me, I believe Australia isn't real. Anybody that loses a war with an emu probably should be written off as a lost cause. Well, I'm just, like I said, Nacho, I'm just embarrassed that it took me so long to understand that. It was so obvious, that Australia wasn't real. Diga says, Sony are planning on buying Crunchyroll. Oh, are they? I didn't know that. They love to censor anime boobs and butt, but they allow full frontal transgender. What's a transgender? That's got to be like the clown of the court who decides he wants to be serious and he's I don't know what a transgender is. But full frontal transgender sex scene.
Oh,
there's no.
yeah.
That's the thing, Degas. There's so many ways, and with major corporations all over the place, there's never any continuity in what they find acceptable and unacceptable. It's a pain right in the ass. It all depends on who they're trying to impress. What they do as far as censorship is all dependent on whose good side they're trying to get on. Xander says, President Curtis, thank you very much for considering my role in furry sex. I would love having furry breasts and tits being smothered in my face, and I would love to have a fox or cougar for a girlfriend. Hey, Steve, good to see you, pal. You like the tweet I mentioned you recently about the voting? Yes. Yeah, that was good, Steve. Yes, it was. I played one of the Spider-Man games ages ago. I don't remember much about it. Oink says, in addition to Chief of Gay Sex and Lizard Whisper, I additionally request to be Chief of Random Violence. Ooh. Yeah, the Random Violence Department is going to be, it's going to be hopping. Wow. That'd be a lot of responsibility to take on. Johnny says, appoint me Secretary of Defense. I'll push for research into making our own Super Saiyans. No one want to fuck with us. Yeah. Oh, shit. And everybody's talking about, that's one of, we've had that conversation in our political chats over and over. A lot of people don't like how much money we spend on the military. We get a couple of quality Super Saiyans out there, and once they're developed, the military budget can be slashed because We got it all. We got it all in just a couple of bros that'll go out there and kick some ass. I like it. Chrome says a lot of big JRPG games are moving away from Sony into Nintendo now because of Sony's censorship and bad practices. Funny to think Nintendo is anti-censorship side now. That I was thinking that as I was reading that, Chrome. Who would ever thought that Nintendo would be considered the place where you can have a little artistic freedom? It's just, again, it all depends on how caught up in the whole social justice, not want to offend anybody, make sure everybody's happy and nobody's sensibilities are damaged at all, an individual corporation is. We know that YouTube is completely over the top with social justice bullshit. Sony is that way. And they will do it. They will take it to extremes now at the detriment of their own companies. Dragon says, have you ever watched the movie The Room? I don't think so. It sounds familiar. If not, you should. It falls under the category of so bad it's funny. Oh, yeah, you're talking about... Oh, are you talking about... Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah, I haven't... If that's... Am I remember the name right? Is that the Oh, Hi, Mark movie?
Oh,
if that's the case, I have not seen the whole thing. I've seen a lot of clips of it, but I haven't seen the whole thing. Thai School says... Hey, Curtis, you remember Wheels from Pimp My Wheelchair? I do. Maybe you already know. No, I don't, but his real name is Terrell Pierre. In his official channel, he's reacting to Pimp My Wheelchair video. Is he? No, I didn't. I didn't know anything about him, outside of that video. Yeah, he was cool. Papa Frank was so fun. Artistic freedom, true. Unless you make a Nintendo fan game, Mario hates that. I see that, Big Green. And it's surprising, too, because when you think back, Nintendo was the company that for a while went after gamers for posting gameplays of their own games. So yeah, for them to be seen as less restrictive than Sony, that's pretty sad. Chrome says the leaks are that Sony will acquire Crunchy for $1 billion. Wow. I was going to say that seems a little high. I'm with you. I doubt they're worth that much, really. Their site's infrastructure is bad and the licenses could move to other companies easily. Yeah. Right when you said that, Chrome, that was... My first thought was that seems like an extravagant amount for an industry like that. Dragonsphere says, hi, my friend Simon Dan just did a great debunk video on someone who thinks Earth is an egg and the sky is water. When you think you've seen it all. Oh, God. But the worst thing, Dragon, I think what's worse than somebody thinking that the Earth is an egg is the number of people who will jump on board with it. That's the real problem. This is why we end up with things like, cults and too much groupthink in America and probably other parts of the world as well, is because people are willing to believe anything if you've got a good enough story. Gary Goes Ham says, hi, everyone. Just wanted to pop in real quick and say hi. I'm about to go into work. Oh, well, I'm glad you did, Gary. Have a good evening at work or day. I don't know what time. It's always like, yeah, the whole world's got to be in my time zone. Have a good work shift. Put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Cheyenne says, right after my first super chat, the DC contact tracing team called me to track down where I got it. Anyway, I have a lot of time to watch anime now. I mean, study history. I'll be your top diplomat. Very good, Cheyenne. I like that. And our top diplomat. Would you be interested in diplomat or just diplomat? Cheyenne Streamballs again, too. Our top diplomat will, of course, have a significant amount of anime knowledge anyway, so those two things will go perfectly hand in hand in my administration. Dragon says, that guy who broke both his legs may not be able to become a wrestler, but he can start his new career as Human Gumpy. Aw, Dragon. You're not wrong, though. That was brutal.
Yeah.
I mean... And beyond training for wrestling, though, the way he landed was fucking... Your body generally will tell you, I mean, instinctively will tell you, whenever you jump and land on your feet, you obviously need your torso or the bulk of your weight back away, not over your toes, because your knees only bend one way. That's what really got me. He landed awkward as fuck. He landed like a ski jumper with his head right over his toes. That's why his legs broke. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's one thing to be untrained, which he obviously was. It's another to just not have normal human instincts. Hell says, I love Colt. Sure this ain't one? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, Krusty Bow makes a good point. The Earth is an egg. Well, that's a terrifying idea. What's going to hatch? Yeah, I don't. We probably don't want to know, Krusty. I'm thinking that's one of those things where ignorance is truly bliss. Genesis Kaiser says, isn't it ironic that 4Kids is not as bullshit now compared to Funimation? Sure, both altered content and dialogue. 4Kids was marketing to kids. Funimation is altering content aimed at older viewers. You make a good point. As much as I can't stand 4Kids, that's a solid point. They did what they did because they were going after a young person market. Funimation is doing what they're doing because they suck. Kyle says, hey, a Dark Souls tip from a veteran to a new soul. Once you beat the first DS3 boss, you'll be able to summon players as phantoms to help you. Oh, really? That's actually kind of cool, Kyle. Yeah, somebody else explained to me right in the comments of that video that it's posted now, because I didn't realize that those other souls or those transparent people you saw are actually other players on that server. I didn't realize that. That's kind of cool. I just thought it was souls from the game. There were NPCs. Wolverine says, can mods share the office of Brax abuse? Oh, that's gonna be a pretty crowded office, I would think, right there. There's a lot of people. We can tell there's a lot of people want that position just because every time he comes in or he comes into the room, everybody's alight with kick his ass type stuff. Lick says, wait, this isn't a cult? No. Chrome says, hell, Nintendo's even the ones financing Bayonetta even had Nintendo-themed costumes for her in the game. They even told Platinum to make the costumes more sexy than the drafts they were given. Wow. Yeah, Big Green says, yeah, Funimation is just doing it because they can get away with it. It's just frustrating is what it is. I just, you get so tired of it. The thing with any type of censorship in entertainment, what gets me is I'll never understand overly censoring anything, because if you don't like it, don't partake in it. If it's a game, don't play it. If it's an anime, don't watch it. If it's a movie, don't watch it. Why do you care if somebody else enjoys it? That's the part I don't get. I see things in games or in movies or TV all the time that I don't care for. It's typically not because I'm offended. I just don't care for it. So I don't watch it. I don't get online and try and convince people to censor it. I don't try and convince people not to take part in it. I just don't like it. So if you don't like that, if you don't like whatever, if there's titties in a game, don't play the fucking game. And don't tell me about how, well, my child, listen, if you don't take enough interest in your child and what they're doing, that's not the game maker's fault. That's your fault for being a shit parent. Jesus Christ, that shit drives me nuts. Dragon says, do you think any comedian will ever be able to sell as many albums as Jeff Foxworthy? I don't think so. He's got such a ridiculous number, Dragon. A lot of people don't realize how much he's done in sales of albums, tapes, because his career spanned the generation of tape, album, CD, everything. He's sold a lot. Jeff Foxworthy is a rich mofo. I don't know. Somebody may someday, but they would have to, I think they would have to get really hot at a young age and stay in the business for a long time, because you got to think nowadays too what happens, Dragon. So Kevin Hart was wildly popular with his stand-up, deservedly so. I think the guy's hilarious. But most stand-up comics that become that popular branch off into movies, TV, or something else, just like Kevin Hart did, and you're never going to approach Foxworthy numbers because they don't tour as much. Yes, Foxworthy, even though he's got a lot of things he's into now, how many years was he a hardcore touring comic? So, when you're out there, that's how you sell the albums. Clearly this is a cult about Mario games. What else could this be? Tyler says, yeah. Whatever happened to that guy, I wonder, Tyler? I don't think we saw him again, did we? You guys remember the guy who came in while I took you guys on a little tour of this picturesque shrine that we have near us one day on a live stream. And this guy came in convinced for some reason that I love Mario games. and that I had to be playing the new Mario game because anything else was unacceptable because I loved them so much. And we don't have any idea where he came up with any of that, or the internet's a scary place sometimes. Big Green says it just kind of sucks because due to shit like this in anime, the only alternative is yo ho, a pirate's life for me. I agree, Big Green. I agree. And again, that gets to me as much as anything as far as setting me off is people try or encouraging censorship of something. If this is the way, whatever the medium is, if this is the way the artistic people behind it, whether it's writers, animators, whatever, if that's the vision they had for it and you don't like that vision, don't fucking watch it. What difference does it make to you if somebody else wants to? That just, and nobody's ever been able to even close to adequately explain that to me. Why does it matter to you? Just leave it alone if somebody else enjoys it. I can't stand country music. Don't like it at all. If I get in the car and my wife has left the radio on that channel, it's the first thing I do because it's like nails across the chalkboard to me. I've never led any type of movement to have it banned or anything. I don't care if other people like it. I just don't want to listen to it. I just don't get that. If it's not for me, it can't be for anybody type shit. That was a fun day. It was, Wolverine. I actually had a good time on that stream. We really did. Oink says, what do you mean no one would want to fuck with us? I would pay so much money to fuck a Super Saiyan. Oink. Yeah, but goddamn, wouldn't you be afraid a Super Saiyan could like blast you through the stratosphere without meaning to or something? Olfest says if Curtis starts an OnlyFans, he needs to destroy chairs on a regular. You know, it's funny, but it's actually true. To this day, if I'm out and about doing this, doing that, and I see a metal folding chair in a corner somewhere or something, it does give you a little bit of a flashback. It's like, oh, you get a little mini headache for just a second. Chrome says, what, you don't like the sound of banjos and Cousins in Heat? Rosa says, at least you haven't had a crazy person who thinks your family is fake yet. I've seen some dude claiming that a small YouTuber's brother is actually a robot, and he was genuinely convinced of it. Yeah, well, we had Mark Bark. He didn't go that route, Rosa, but some of what he believed and seemed to genuinely think was pretty frightening. I mean, frightening as far as crossing way over from somebody who's trolling and into somebody with some serious mental issues. Yeah, the dude had problems. Kyle says, what were you playing DS3 on? It was in a stream earlier. It was actually a sponsored stream from the Goosh. But Coltonius Maximus sponsored it as a live stream here at YouTube. And now I had to download the file, and then I just put the file up at I'll put the file up later today over at the Goosh. But that's where the gameplay is. You can see it right on YouTube, or in a little while you'll see it also on the Goosh. Could be Isaac. He says they want to feel relevant. That's why they push their opinions onto others. I think there's got to be a significant amount of narcissism in it too, don't you think, Isaac? I mean, doesn't there? I mean, to be that concerned about somebody else enjoying something that you don't like, I mean, there's got to be a substantial amount of arrogance involved in that, I would think. Ooh, Samuel, that's tough. It says, quick question. If you could do any special attack from any anime, what would it be? Yikes. Any one individual attack? I don't know. I'd have to have, that's something I'd have to have you guys, because I'd forget stuff. I'd have to have you guys suggest to me. Well, of course, there's always, I forgot what it's called, but there's always Issei's knocking the clothes off thing. That pops right to mind. I don't know. What would be the best individual? Not Almighty Push. I think if it was one individual ability, I'd like to have. I'd like to be. I don't know. Possibly Super Saiyan. I just think that's cool as fuck. But as far as one specific attack, I don't know. I really don't. I'm not sure. Like I say, I would be easier to say one specific set of abilities or something. If that were the case, although you say one specific attack, say Thomas Punch, I've always thought that is just wildly cool. off the top of my head, that would probably be it. One Punch Man's Punch. Oh, okay. Kyle says, I mean, what system? Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam. I play on PC. Pretty much everything I play now is on PC. Son Zyko says, yo, Curtis, if you don't notice me, I'm going to touch your spaghetti. Well, that's a good way to get me not to notice you. Listen, I like any attention I can get. Say Thomas Punch. Yeah, Milog just said it, too. Perfect. Yeah, Super Saiyan is cool. Ultra Instinct, of course, is next level, too. But to me, the whole Super Saiyan thing, it's just such an overall cool ability. And not just because I would get to have long flowing blonde hair. Just the powers that go with it. Chrome says there's been some translators from manga who put themselves down as the writer of some series when publishing it, even taking awards. What the fuck? I think Devilman's translator was one of the ones doing that. That's pretty fucked up right there. That makes you a complete slime ball. Absolute slime ball as far as I'm concerned. Yikes. Just stealing somebody else's intellectual property like that? Yikes. Huh. Dragonsphere says the politics stream from the other day definitely had a couple of narcissists. It truly did. Dragonsphere, yes, it did. JoJo stands would be cool. Yes, I agree, Lex. There's some really badass stands. I don't. Not a new thought, but yes, that's one of the things that made JoJo so cool. That in the English, of course. It's just the stands were so imaginative. That's what I'm wondering too, Rosa. Rosa says when Curtis goes SSJ, does he grow hair or does he grow an epic beard? I don't know. We've never had a bald character go Super Saiyan, have we? I don't think. It's never Master Roshi or anything. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Mobile is best because it's all I can afford, Dylan says. That's all. Hey, as long as you're enjoying yourself, that's all that matters. As long as you're having a good time. Krusty Bound says that works. Oh, I'm sorry. Wolverine's responding to Krusty. Willie says that is the basis of problems with anime adaptations in the U.S. They think the original concept won't be enjoyable, so they make it for general audiences. Oh, couldn't agree with you more, Willie. Couldn't agree with you more. Oink says, if you had to fuck one of your family members, who would you pick? Probably my wife. That's really not that hard to call, Oink. Yeah, we do play Among Us here, Sister Zone. We were going to play it yesterday, but what happens to me a lot is when I ended up streaming, I was pressed for time. And I don't like to play Among Us or any of the games that are interactive unless I know I got at least a good solid hour and a little more to stream. So it'll be coming up soon. Saturdays are tough right now because I'm a college football fanatic, which you guys know I'm a huge Notre Dame fan. So that's right midday and screws up a lot of stuff when I'm watching the Notre Dame games. But Sunday we're going to be out with Brax. We're picking him up from school and taking him and his buddy to the mall. But there will be an Among Us stream coming up early next week, I'm sure. Dragon Spheres makes a good point. Instant transmission could show all the flat earthers. That good point. That would be instant transmission would be a pretty good ability to have. Kyle is stream boss. Let's see. Yeah, we have a Discord, Dylan. It's the link's in. It should be in the description of this video. Any of our videos, any of our live streams, the link to it should be right in there. Dragon Sphere says free trip to space. Chrome says, well, his argument was along the lines of, well, I adapted it, so I'm the partial author. People wouldn't have read it if it wasn't for me. Yeah, that's a weak argument when you're dealing with something that already has a significant number of sales. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked. That is completely fucked up. This crazy PC. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Stevie. Said this crazy PC. I'm not sure what you're referencing, pal. Chrome says Funimation has done way more to turn me off dubs than 4Kids has at this point. Love is War dub sounds pretty bad. So does Demon Slayers. They need new blood in the voice acting roles. Yeah, I've gotten to where you guys know I have enjoyed a significant number of dubs. I've enjoyed a lot of subs. I've gotten to where what I do when we have a new series, if it's sponsored, of course I go with whatever the sponsor wants. But when I'm just putting a series out, watching a new anime, I go with sub by default because I found that I like seeing things, in the original language. But what I always do is I try and research a series as best I can without getting into spoilers and find out what the community at large thinks. Because there are some series, and we all know the ones we're talking about, where there's an overwhelming push towards dub, where you can find everywhere where people are saying, no, that the dub is superior, dub is superior. A lot of times it's, hey, sub is good, but the dub is just that much better. So I just try and research it. And if I see that people are hardcore about the dub, then I'll go that route. Rosa says, most of the dubs suck. There are a few dubs I enjoy. That said, I watch Slice of Life, which usually get shit dubs. Yeah, I understand, Rosa. Again, now, I love the dub in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but we went dub with that because overwhelmingly you guys said you got to watch that one in dub. The dub voices are so good. Yu Yu Hakusho, same thing. When we were watching that, there were so many people saying, it was legendary for its dub. So typically I go sub unless there's something like that, an extenuating circumstance like that. Ooh. James says, shout out to my dog Ozzy. He's recovering from an anal abscess. That made my butt cheeks clench, James. Your poor dog. There's nothing about anal abscess that sounds even a little bit fucking fun. Nothing. Thomas says, talking about Dragon Ball, I found out my nickname at work is Kakarot. That's cool. I never got a nickname that cool. There's usually stuff like shithead, or fat bald guy or something like that. Kakarot would be a badass nickname to have. Video for Life says, hey Curtis, did you ever see I'm not going to pronounce that right, Hyorinjutsu? Hyorinjutsu? He's awesome with his animation. No, I haven't. I'd never heard that name before. I have not heard that. Unpopular opinion, Ocho says Pokemon dub is the best anime dub. I can't really comment, Ocho. I know nothing about Pokemon. All I know about Pokemon is pretty much from the time I spent playing Pogo with Spaz Kid, but I don't have any knowledge of that. Sun Zyko says, all right. Every transformation is cool, and all have their own particular features, but what about Super Saiyan 5? Underrated as fuck. Yeah, I'm with you. I love the transformations in Dragon Ball. I think it's one of the truly, well, it's a lot of great series. Yeah, it's a lot of great things about that series, but the transformations are clearly one of them. I'll try too, guys, for both of you guys at YouTube and the Goosh. I'll try and get up another episode. I'll try and get it up for you. I'll try and get another episode of Dragon Ball up pretty soon. And now they have come through, and in case I hadn't told you guys this, I think I did. Toei is going ahead and just taking the monetization from those videos, which is good. That's what I look for, because you can assume then that we can do the whole series, because typically if that's their policy, they're not going to block them because they're making money from them. So we should be good to go on that one. Look, says my nickname at work is Head. That's okay, Cressy. Thanks for being in with us while you could. Julia says you should watch Hyorinjutsu. He makes 5-star Dragon Ball animation. It's so cool. With me, anything, watching anything new or getting involved in anything new, it's just always a time thing. Cord says, Curtis, remember when I fooled Sheeps in Among Us as Goku, 4th time post-Shingeki? I vaguely remember that. I remember Goku being in there. We just play so many games of that. I don't remember all the specifics. What the fuck? Alan, what the fuck's wrong with you? Alan says, I just slapped my cousin and took his toaster strudel. If it's me, Alan, I would have to fight you. That's a toaster strudel, bro. I would get my bones broken and shit for one of those. That's a great post, though. Just thought you guys should know. I just slapped my cousin and took his toaster strudel. That's cool. But yeah, I would have to fight you over that. There's some shit you could take from me. I'd be just like, fuck it, I'll just go get another one or whatever. But a toaster strudel, I would fight over. We had reminds me of a story. I know you guys love my stories. Well, hopefully they're not too boring for you. But years ago, my best friend Tom, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, we used to get into a significant amount of trouble when we were doing stuff together. But so many years ago, we have a local county fair here. We're walking around the fair, and we ran into a friend of Toms who I knew, and they're two brothers. They run a local trucking company. Now, the one brother we ran into at the fair, I'd met before and we're chatting. The other brother I hadn't met. I knew of him, but I hadn't met him yet. And this was back when I was wrestling a heavy schedule. And I remember being at the fair and I was still bandaged up because I had gotten gashed so deep that if you took the bandages off, because I didn't like walking around with bandages, it would just keep bleeding. I couldn't get it shut because I didn't like going for stitches. I would put super glue in them. So anyway, I looked pretty beat. And so we meet up with this friend of my friend Tom's, and he says, hey, my brother's here. He says, he knew of me from Tom talking about him, but he's never met. He says, go find him and screw with him. So we did, and we're looking around, and we see his brother coming. And so I come around the corner, and I walked right up to him, and he had French fries. And I said, whoa, French fries. And I took his French fries from him, and I started eating them. And don't get me wrong, his brother wasn't like a wimp or a wuss or anything of the sort. He'll fight you. But he just kind of looked at me, and I was eating his fries, and I was smiling at him and eating them, and he's like, all right. And we all started laughing. And he didn't leave or anything. He just kind of shrugged his shoulders like, okay. It was one of the great reactions of all time because, then he sees Tom and his brother come out and everybody's having a good laugh. And Tom says, you didn't do anything. He goes, fuck it, they're French fries. They got more. I got money. He goes, I thought this guy needed some French fries. I thought that was a greater reaction than getting mad or wanting to fight about it or anything. He just was like, I didn't say anything, but thank you for the fries. I just took them from him, and he was just like, fuck it. And that's exactly what he said. He said, I have money in my pocket. They have lots more potatoes over at the French fry shop. Fucking guy wants some French fries, let him have them. He goes. I just thought it was cool, and you guys made me think of that story. Willie says, how do I get a Goosher tag on Discord? I'm a Goosher, but I can't figure it out. I've forgotten, Willie, but if you ask the mods there, any of the mods will help you. The mods, all our mods, whether it's here, the Discord, anywhere, all our mods are so good, so on the spot, and so helpful. Just ask any of the mods. Message them there. They'll help you out with it. Digas says, is there a better cult leader than Sosuke Aizen? No, probably not, Digas. He had the whole cult leader thing down pat. Absolutely. Fucking Aizen. I hated him. Dragon says, from what I've heard, that backyard wrestler may have to get one of his legs amputated. That wouldn't really surprise me, Dragon, with the compound fractures he had in them. It's frightening, but it wouldn't be a surprise. That was horrific. Just absolutely horrible. That's what I thought, Licks, too. Licks says, that's a good man. I respect that. I always thought that was one of the great reactions. Because, again, most people, would get mad or freaked out or... and especially, I'm a fairly sizable guy. I'm all bandaged up and everything. It looked kind of intimidating. It wasn't intimidating or anything. It was just like... And that's what he told his brother. He said, listen, I'm going to fight this fucking guy over French fries? He goes, that's what he said. They got more potatoes and I got money in my pocket. What the fuck do I care? He goes, I thought it was great. Oh, I can't wait for Bleach either. Dragon Spheres. Yeah. Bleach coming in 2021. That's going to be good. Oh, Milog. What the fuck, dude? How many dead babies does it take to change a light bulb? Not sure yet, but I've reached 37 and still no results. What the fuck? That's just wrong. Chrome says it's Aizen's hair you're jealous of. Well, you could make that case, except we all know that the hair I'm jealous of is my hair. That takes up all my jealousy points there. Sun Zyko says, I love my internet life. Everywhere I go, all I see is porn and hentai. So many horny fucks with all this quarantine. My balls ran dry already. Completely understand, Sun Zyko. Completely understand. All right, guys. Well, I got to pack it in for today. My wife's going out tonight. She's got some stuff she's got to do. She's doing with some friends. So I'm going to go down and have something to eat with her before she goes. And then I'm going to try and get a little, some extra stuff done today for the weekend, because tomorrow there's football and we're going to spend all day Sunday with Brax. So I like to make sure, I got everything in place for you guys here at the channel and over at the Goose. Guys, Free-for-All Fridays are so much fun. I love them. Do look forward to, if you can make it, come into some of the President Curtis fireside chats. Or I don't know if we'll call them fireside chats, or I don't know. We'll figure a term for them, but the Ask President Curtis streams. Because I'm running in 2024 because I can't fucking take this anymore. That will probably be my campaign slogan, is vote for Curtis. I can't be any worse than these fucking idiots. That'll probably be it. Dragon says it looks like Alberto Del Rio won't be making an in-ring return for quite some time. He's a dirtbag, Dragon. I had heard things about him before. I never said it because, when I hear something as a rumor, I don't want to put it out there about a known figure. But now that we know a little bit about the things that he's done, he didn't have a good reputation. A lot of people in the business knew that he was kind of scummy. But guys, Free for All Friday. Thank you very much for this stream again. I love hanging out with you guys every day, but especially just these Free for All Fridays are so much fun. And of course, the sticky stuff is fresh. It's good. It's hopping. Does anybody say hopping anymore? I mean, outside of, referencing a rabbit. It's fresh. It's good. It's groovy. Yeah, groovy's more. It's groovy. This is. I'm going to give you some. I lived through the 70s. I'm going to give you some psychedelic groovy Free for All Friday sticky stuff today. Yeah, everybody just reached down to their official sticky stuff fanny pack and just zipped that open when they heard that, because here's some groovy sticky stuff all the way from the 70s. Sticky stuff with a groove to it. Pom-poo, sticky stuff here, sticky stuff there. Look at the rainbows in it. Sticky stuff sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you. Groovy sticky stuff for everybody, because we'll bang, okay? Flashily like Buggy. And as always, most importantly, and it's always groovy, goosh, 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 goosh. Goosh.